The next morning, June 17th, weather conditions looked promising. Earhart awakened Bill Stoltz and Lou Gordon, who were suffering from bad hangovers. She spent several hours plying them with black coffee. Then they boarded the Friendship. With Stoltz at the controls, they tried to take off for Britain. Slowed by rough water, the aircraft refused to rise into the air. Feeling desperate, the crew decided to lighten their load by pumping fuel overboard. With about 700 gallons of fuel remaining, barely enough to fly the aircraft to Ireland with the help of favorable tailwinds, the Friendship finally became airborne after a takeoff run of more than 2 miles. Amelia Earhart hoped to take... The assistant who held the lamp trembled visibly when Dr. Morton introduced the forceps into the mouth of the man and prepared to pull the tooth. Then came the strain, the wrench, and the tooth was out, but the patient made neither sign nor sound. He was quite unconscious. Dr. Morton was overjoyed at the result. Then, as the man continued to make no movement, he grew alarmed, and it flashed through his mind that perhaps he had killed his patient. Snatching up a glass of water, he emptied it full into the face of the unconscious man, who presently opened his eyes and looked about him in a bewildered way. "Are you ready now to have the tooth out?" asked the doctor. "I am ready," said the man. "Well, it is out now," said the doctor, pointing to the tooth lying on the floor. "No!" cried the man in greatest amazement, springing from the chair and, being a good Methodist, shouting, "Glory! Hallelujah!" To publicly demonstrate his... The second verse described Keyes' reaction when the sun rose and he saw the flag still flying, indicating that the fort had not surrendered. On the shore dimly seen through the mist of the deep, where the foe's haughty host in dread silence reposes, what is that which the breeze over the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses? Now it catches the gleam of the morning's first beam, in full glory reflected, now shines on the stream. 'Tis the star-spangled banner, oh long may it wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. "What was that?" she asked the jailer. "Oh, just a lunatic," said the jailer. "Dorothea said she would like to see the lunatic." The jailer conducted her to a chilly room where there were 2 women, each housed in her own iron cage. One was obviously the lunatic. The other was a young woman who impressed Dorothea as being very composed, but in danger, Dorothea feared, of becoming deranged simply because of her proximity to her distraught roommate. Although the room in which the 2 patients were confined was quite cold, the inmates were but scantily clad. When Dorothea asked the jailer why the room was not heated, she was assured by the jailer that lunatics don't feel the cold as others. He further informed Dorothea the reports had given the alarm, and several soldiers soon came in sight. I was now at the mouth of the creek and rapidly left the shore behind me. A squad of soldiers by this time stood on the brow and at the base of the hill, firing their muskets, one striking the side of the boat. A high wind swept the waters, and a sudden gust carried away my hat and lifted my coat out of the boat. But it was no time to look backward. Both hands were laid to the oar, and striking the broad current of the Potomac. As the train was about to leave the station, William looked out the window of the baggage car and was shocked to see his master at the ticket counter. He had apparently become suspicious that William might be trying to escape. William's master spoke briefly to the ticket clerk and then began looking into the windows of the train carriages. "Fully believing that we were caught," William wrote, "I shrank into a corner, turned my face from the door, and expected in a moment to be dragged out." The cabinet maker looked into Ellen's carriage, but did not recognize her. Fortunately, the train began to leave the station before the cabinet maker reached William's car. Ellen, meanwhile, found herself in an equally alarming situation. "If you don't unlock the door," said Butch, "we'll have to blow up the car with dynamite." When the clerk still refused to unlock the door, the express car was detached from the train and was moved some distance down the track to make sure that no passengers would be hurt in the explosion. Most of the outlaws wanted to put at least 5 sticks of dynamite under the car, but Butch was worried about the safety of the clerk, so he placed only 1 stick against the door. As Butch lit the fuse, he advised the clerk to take cover. The clerk hunkered down behind the heavy safe and was not harmed when the dynamite blew one whole side off the car. The safe was then carried onto the prairie, where it was set down atop several sticks of dynamite. The fuse was lit and the outlaws scattered. The explosion was so terrific that a cloud of $100 bills mushroomed into the night sky. After the money fluttered down, the outlaws scooped up $30,000. Then they mounted